AlwayzGamezTv. I am your host, Roger Knowles, and we are back for the 5th episode of the AlwayzGamezTv podcast. And once again, I am joined by Tom Simpson.
Hello.
So, as you could probably hear from the audio quality, we're doing this a little bit different today. We're actually being face-to-face for the first time. Well, not over Skype, at least.
Yes.
So, it's going to be a little bit different. And also, we're drinking as well, which probably means that the podcast quality is going to reduce very, very quickly. So I do apologise for that. I always drink sensibly, kids.
Yes.
So we've already done about a quarter of a bottle of Jack Daniels, so we're not doing too bad. Especially when you're doing the measures.
Yes. With my brilliantly perfect eyesight, yeah.
But other than that, it's the same as usual. We're going to go through everything step by step. How have you been, bud, anyway?
Yeah, I've been good, thank you. Yeah.
You've been up to much this last couple of weeks?
I bought a new phone.
Which one do you get going into?
The HTC One.
The one that makes my iPhone look tiny.
Yes, yeah. It's a really, really hard choice between the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One.
What was the difference actually between the two of them?
The HTC One's got an aluminium body with like really big dual front speakers, whereas the Galaxy S4's got a plastic back and a tiny little speaker around the back.
Mm-hmm.
The S4's got more software, but the S4's got a 13 megapixel camera, and this HTC's only got like a 4 ultra pixel camera.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you did mention to me that you were going to get that one, I do remember the adverts at the cinema. That was always, I never really saw him on TV. It was always at the cinema when they used to show them before on the previews, and they used to always advertise the HTC One.
Yeah.
And they'd have the back of the band showing where they'd be facing away from you, and there'd be like really weird angles. And they always said like, "Oh, it'd be better if they were facing toward you're facing the right way." And they said that's why they've done the speakers. They put the speakers on the front rather than being at side at the back. And you actually played it a little bit earlier on for me to let me have a listen, and the quality is so much better than the iPhone. It's one thing that really I like the iPhone. I love it, and if anybody says to me like, "Oh, what phone?" I have to get an iPhone because it's easy to use. I find it personally easily. To a point, even my mum's getting one. That's how easy it is. But with the speakers being just one little tiny speaker on the iPhone being at the bottom, when you're actually holding it playing a game, it's very easy to cover the speaker with your finger, which doesn't sound a lot, but then like you'll be playing a game and it'll be gone. The sound will be gone. You have to move your finger, or even when you're watching a YouTube video or Netflix.
It can be very one-sided with the iPhone if it's only coming out of say the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, it's actually got stereo built into a mobile phone.
It sounds like it's got a bit of bass as well.
It's got bass and it's Dre Beats, algorithm or something, but you've got the option to turn it on and off. With it off, it's like quite loud. It's not that good though. With it on, it adds more bass, more depth.
It does sound good. I got told me when you're playing finals like that, it's a lot better. And then we played that zombie game on it for 2 seconds. What was it called?
Something Dead.
Something Dead, Loading Dead or something. I can't remember. It looks really good actually. I got to admit, I was really impressed to a point where I want to go have a look on the iOS and have a little look, see hopefully we've got it. But that looks really awesome, and the quality screen is just huge. I got an iPhone 4S, and my girlfriend's got the iPhone 5, and there is a drastic difference between that. But even between the iPhone 5 and that one, there's still a major difference in size.
Yeah.
The HTC One is a lot bigger than the iPhone.
That's a 4.7 inch screen, and the S4's got a 5 inch screen, or a 4.99, pretty much 5. They're getting to the state where they're verging on tablets.
Well, yeah, it is. It's amazing to a point where my age, I remember, not as far as the brick where you would hold the suitcase and wind it up. Don't go as far back as that. Do you remember those on the old 80s where they used to have the suitcase, and the actual suitcase would be wired to a phone?
Oh, yeah.
Like a brick. I don't remember those, but my dad does. But I had a terrible thought. It was shocking. It was before the Nokia one where everybody had.
The 3310.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh, I got for the 3310. Like, ooh, I'm super cool." I never got one of them. I had the 3-year version before it.
But like a house phone.
Yeah, it even had its own little aerial constantly always sticking up, and it wouldn't scroll properly. So everything you'd have to select it, and that would only have one section of screen for that particular thing. So if text, you could only select one text at a time. You couldn't scroll. It was terrible. And I had that for about till I was 16. So you can imagine the looks I was getting, and then I literally went from that to a random Nokia touch screen one, which I picked up second hand off somebody,
Yeah.
And then I went literally from that straight to the iPhone. So imagine the jump, I was just like, boom, boom. And I was just like in awe of the iPhone. That's probably why I've stuck with them for so long.
Did it sort of confuse you a little bit when you first got it? Trying to get used to all the
a
new
little
features?
bit. You know, because I was like so used to the old sort of style and how it was. Well, this was like, I guess you could say it was very daunting, but because everything was so easy to see, like there was the messages section, and it was all on one screen. It was, quite amazing. But obviously with the iPad coming along and everything like that helps. But obviously, I have everything interlinked now. If I could afford a Mac, I probably would have a Mac as well. So they're all interlinked. Yeah.
Are we going to move on?
Yeah, we better move on. Have you been playing any games lately? Actually.
I bought Dishonored ages ago, wasn't it? Quite a while ago in the Steam sale, and I gave it a bash last night or the night before, and I thought it was okay. It's
Give me a rundown of it. What's it about? I've never actually played Dishonored.
similar to Bioshock in the way that you get sort of powers that you can use, like a blink spell. Well, it's not like a spell; it's like a power that you can teleport. What power do you get? I can't remember any of the other powers because I unlocked them yet.
Jack Daniels is kicking.
No, it's just I haven't unlocked any of them.
Oh, fair enough. So what's the backstory with Dishonored?
Right, it's set in a city. It's sort of kind of steampunky, like there's cars and stuff, but you're still using like really old like pistols that looks like a musket, or and swords and stuff, and then crossbows. So it's kind of steampunky in that sense.
It sounds a bit like Mad Max sort of style.
It's not post-apocalyptic though, is it?
Oh, Mad Max is. It's Dishonored.
Mad Max is post-apocalyptic. Yeah, Dishonored isn't though.
All right.
You're basically the Empress's bodyguard, and there's this plague like running through the land, which is a plague of rats, and they're sort of eating people and stuff. So you're sent out to all the other cities, and like kingdoms and stuff, to find aid and a cure, but there isn't one. So you get sent back, and then, spoiler alert here.
Go on.
Basically, you get back and you sort of hand this note over to the Empress, and explains that there isn't any aid coming and there's no cure, and an assassin sort of appears out of a cloud of smoke and then teleports closer to you. You shoot him like 3 times and he puffs into some smoke, and then some more men come and like grab you, and then one of them stabs the Empress through the chest and kills her, and the other one kidnaps the heir to the throne, her daughter.
Oh.
And then from there on, you get arrested, and it goes to like 4 or 5 months later, and you break out with the aid of these like rebels. And then I think the story basically continues. You get your powers, you get some better weapons, and you have to fight to get the heir to the throne back.
Oh, right. Because it's one game again. It just sort of passed me by. Seems to happen a lot with me. They do constant releases, and then I just don't have the time in the day to be able to play all the games. But it's one that I did hear some good reviews about. But I just never really touched it, in all honesty. But I haven't really been playing much myself. Actually, one thing I have been playing is a lot of iPhone games.
Oh yeah.
I played my mate is really into football. I'm not. I don't watch football. But he got me really into the Top 11 app. It's basically a football manager game. And I'm all about the stats and comparing everything like that. Doing the more the gamey side of it, and he does all the actual football side of it.
Yeah.
And it's just basically a football manager game, but that's sort of got me hooked. Been playing that a little bit lately.
Oh, right.
And also Trials Extreme 3.
Trials
Extreme, a bit like the I don't know if it's made by the same people who did Trials.
I don't think it will be. I think I saw that on the Android App Store. It's very similar gameplay, but
Very, very similar.
don't think it's by the same company.
No, it doesn't. You got something by the looks of it. It does. It has a point where you feel like it's the same, but it's not entirely the same. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you got something that I've been playing a little bit of that as well. But other than that, I haven't been touching a lot lately. Except with the usual Armour 2 and Armour 3 with you guys. Doing editing, putting videos up, and that. It's kind of been quiet for me the last couple of weeks. I do mean to sit down and play the Metal Gear Solid trilogy. Well, sorry, Legacy Collection.
Legacy, yeah.
I do want to go back to play some old school gaming and get back to that just before the later games in the year start coming out with Grand Theft Auto 4, Blacklist, and everything like that.
Yeah, number 5, you mean, yeah?
Yes, I always keep doing that. I've not got around to the idea that everything's moving on. I'm still with it.
Number 4's an old GTA now, but the graphics are still pretty good.
I've got to admit, we were on about this the other day about a mod that updates all the textures and everything.
Yeah, I think it's an ice enhancer mod. It's do you remember the EMB mod I told you about for Fallout and Skype?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically the same mod but edited for GTA 4.
Alright. I haven't seen any screens for this, I have to admit. I was having a little look around the other day, but I didn't see any major images of it. I'd like to see this, I got to admit.
No, it does look really good.
I was not overly impressed with GTA 4's story, and that's what's maybe pulling me in. I just hope number 5 is better. I really do. I loved San Andreas and the humour of San Andreas. Number 4, it just didn't capture me at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, we better crack on because we have actually got quite a few news stories this time round. Last podcast we really didn't. But hopefully, all being well, we should be able to get through all of these. So anyway, let's get on with the stories. So, on with the news then. Basically, this first story is a continuation from last week, which is about Saints Row 4, and basically them having to reapply their game towards Australia's certification board. Well, Australia have approved it this now. It will be Saints Row 4 will now be released in Australia, but it will be slightly modified. Basically, it will no longer have the alien anal probe gun. Tom now doing the hand actions, thank you very much. And also, it will no longer include a side mission, which was to do with alien narcotics, which the Australian certification board weren't happy with. The idea that your character would pick up the alien narcotics and be able to do enhanced things such as fly, run faster, become stronger. They didn't approve on that either. So they've removed that from the game. And now it has now been allowed to be released in Australia. However, there is some, I guess, backlash to this. Basically, if you are playing online on the Saints Row 4 in Australia, you will not be able to play with the rest of the world because they're playing with a different version of the game. You will only be able to play within the Australian edition. Yeah. So with the Australians, the only way around it is actually to import the worldwide version, which is actually illegal in Australia. So I won't advise that to anybody, but it's an interesting one, and I think this is always going to be an unusual story. What's your thoughts on it, really? Not a lot. Nice. Blank. It's I basically my opinion. I said a lot about it last podcast, and I told my opinions on it quite strongly that I don't agree with what Australia's certification body is. They have a mature rating. Why can't this come under it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was an Aussie, I think it'd be really off-putting because the group of people you'd be able to play with online has shrunk considerably just to like Australians.
Mm-hmm.
No, like a year or something, you want to go on and play it with your mates, but
the community might not be.
The community might have shrunk.
Yeah, by a dramatic amount. Because you do see that with games, anyways. It's the same with as much with like Call of Duty as well as others. As much as it's got a very big following, eventually it does start to drift off a little bit, and you do start seeing a lot more foreigners, coming to your games and stuff like that, which is fine. But if you haven't got that ability to be able to start bringing in people from the outside of the country into your game, like you say, it does reduce down the possibility of you being able to have an enjoyable experience online. What does also confuse me, that actually the alien anal probe gun will still be classed as a DLC for the Australians, and they will be able to purchase this at a later date.
So basically all they've banned is the alien drugs.
Yeah, which also another question is, isn't basically the alien narcotics in the game a buff?
I've got no idea.
Because like MMOs have buffs, you could come to me and it's the same with Star Wars: The Old Republic. You could come up to me and go, "I'm going to buff you," and I would be stronger.
It's slightly different though. Like you have this extra ability, have this extra power. Here, have some crack.
But they don't call it crack.
No.
Alien narcotics.
Same principle though, isn't it?
Well, that's buffs generally in games, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I don't think it was drug oriented, to be honest, but
I guess if they didn't call it alien narcotics, that probably wouldn't have helped.
if they called it like steroid boost or something, I don't know.
That's probably still illegal.
Yeah.
Or just a buff would probably help. It seems very strange, and I don't think, in all honesty, I'm probably going to understand it. It's going to be an unusual one, I think, straight away from. I just think they're being a bit too hard on the actual Australian citizens, and they basically just don't trust them that they can make sensible choices.
I think it's a little bit daft, to be honest.
Basically, the next story is that Payday 2 has already made a profit, even though it has been in beta for a month.
Yeah.
The idea was on the Steam that you could purchase the full game and receive early access to the beta, or the game, and you would gain also a couple of codes for the beta, which you could hand out to friends. And in this last week, everybody's been able to gain access to the beta.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I saw it pop up in my Steam library this last week, but I didn't bother downloading it because of the, I think it's, what was it, 12 gigs? Or?
It's something like that. I know my hard drive is running a little bit low on the old hard drive space, so I didn't bother. But it's good news for the developers, which are, I'm going to read down here. Starbreeze and Overkill are the developers of the game, and the publishers are 505 Games. But to say that actually, I don't think it's released until Friday. This is great news for the developers, in all honesty. You can pretty much guarantee they're going to do a Payday 3, though, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that'll depend on how many purchases are made on the day.
True. See, I got something I was kind of confused. The idea is, I also said this on when I did the UK Top 10 charts. I put a status up on Facebook saying that my prediction for next week that Payday 2 will be at number 1. Now, technically, all the pre-orders, they'll go towards the sales, obviously, for this next week, because they won't count until it's fully released. So if it's already in profit, it must have sold quite a few of the copies of it.
Is that how it works?
I presume that's what I would class that. It would be for the month. If you pre-order something, because you were only been playing the beta.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
So all basically on the moment it's released, your purchase would have counted on that moment of release, because then you have full access to the game. But I'm putting my money on that Payday 2 is going to be at number 1 for next week. Minecraft will not be able to stay there forever. Anyways, well, we have a quote from the CEO of Starbreeze, Anderson Clint, I think I'm saying that right. Not only have we managed to deliver a desirable product in Payday 2, but also executed a promotion that few companies of our size can. We can now look forward to royalty income that can secure the company's development of its own IP in the future. That Payday 2 generates a revenue for the company 6 days before the release is, of course, very unusual for the game of this size, and strengthens the long-term nature of our strategy. Well, basically, he's just saying that, yeah, we're quids in.
Yeah.
They must be jumping over them, like, moving on this basically news of they've already got a profit.
If you looked on Steam at some of the screenshots and trailers, it does look like a very good game.
It does, actually. It's very much like the first one, but they built upon it.
I think, haven't they added some RPG elements to, like, extend gameplay, make it more interesting and give you more goals to,
Honestly, I've been watching a lot of the YouTube videos of people playing it, and I think you can actually choose, like Friday. Oh, basically, if you don't know what Payday is, it's a heist game, and I think in one of the sections is that you go down a high street and you can choose which store you want to rob. I think that's quite funny because it obviously changes then the gameplay of that one mission. Like, you can rob a jewel, you can rob a candy shop, clothes shop, that sort of thing, and a restaurant, things like that. It would, obviously, you pretty much only get away with food from the restaurant, but it would change depending on where you would go and the situation you put yourself into.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, that extends the gameplay, and you probably get more XP or gold or whatever the currency is in the game from different stores.
Mm-hmm.
So, in itself, it could be sort of selecting the difficulty when you're already in the game.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good idea. It shows obviously it's a popular IP.
Yeah,
it really does, and I'm putting money on again that they're going to come around and do a third one. They must do eventually. But no, I got to admit, I'm going to possibly go back to number 1 and have a little play. I never completed that all the way through. I never really got to go on all the missions, but maybe a good little investment maybe to have a little pop on there and have a little go on it.
Yeah.
Basically, next up is more of a serious story. Is basically that it's about the Crytek. Nearly 2 weeks ago, actually, it was just after the podcast of last time I spotted this. Crytek websites have been taken down due to a suspicious activity. Now, not all the websites have gone down. Only a selection of them. It's just another warning, basically, to a lot of people. If Crytek did obviously did Crysis, which is their main one.
Crysis, yeah. Crysis 2, Crysis 3. Didn't they do the original Far Cry, or is that... I think they did the original, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, yeah, the security of, I think it's 3 or 4 of their websites has been breached. 2 of them are still up.
Mm-hmm. I haven't got actually what the situation is at its present moment.
No.
I haven't done an update. But basically, it happened about a week and a half ago. If you do have an account with them, don't be silly. Get over there. Get your password changed. It's just the most safest option to do. And also a little hint out there: don't use the same password that you use for everything else. And don't don't deny it, because we know we all do it at some point. Just get it changed. Get it to a random code, random number, and just get it switched, because it's just really not worth the hassle. It really isn't. And get that done straight away. So it's just a warning to you all. Just get it done. So basically, the next story is actually you brought this up today, actually, which I didn't actually realise at all. Go on, take it away.
Oh, okay. There's a website called thehumblebundle.com, and it's set up for charity. Let's have a look. If you want to know the exact web address, it's www.humblebundle.com, and you can pay whatever you want for a set of games. And at the moment, for the next 2 weeks, there's Dead Space 1, Burnout Paradise the Ultimate Collection, Crysis 2 Maximum Edition, Mirror's Edge, Dead Space 3, Medal of Honor. And then if you pay above the average that people have been paying, which is at the moment it's $4.54, it's about £3.
50? Something like £3.50?
I reckon it's about £3, because it's not that much. Anyway, if you pay above the average, you also gain access to Battlefield 3 and The Sims 3 with 2 add-ons.
I got to admit, when you mentioned this to me, you actually brought up Dead Space 3 and asked if I had that, and I don't. I've got Dead Space 1 and 2. But just for Dead Space 3 alone, if I paid £3...
It says that the total value of the pack is, I think it's about $213. And a lot of people have been getting away with $4.54. I mean, it's for charity. At least put a little bit of money into
Well,
it.
yeah, we're saying, like, and which charity is it for then? Not that should be an option, but I mean, just out of curiosity.
In just a moment, I'll bring it up. There's 5 different charities. You get to choose how much you want to donate to these charities and how much you want to donate to the Humble Bundle website for hosting all, the bandwidth and stuff. The charities are the Human Rights Campaign, WATSI, I'm not entirely sure what charity that represents, San Francisco AIDS Foundation, the American Cancer Society, and the American Red Cross.
In all honesty, it's like just one of those games is worth that amount of money. I didn't even really... Apparently it's been out for a little while now.
The Humble Bundle website's been up for months. I mean, I remember ages ago when they were selling other games, and...
I'm going to have to... It's the first time I really heard about it, I have to admit. But it does seem like it's for a very good cause. If you can get over there, guys, and even if it's just one of the games that you're wanting on there, put some money towards it. It's for a good cause. I know at least as soon as we finish this podcast, I'll be getting on my PC and having a look. And these are PT games.
Oh, yeah. Once you've paid, whatever you choose to pay, you get a choice whether you want to download them all with Steam codes or Origin codes. So
that's a good choice.
But Dead Space 3 and Battlefield 3, and I'm not sure, but I think The Sims 3, they're all Origin exclusives. So you'll have to download those on Origin anyway. But Mirror's Edge, Dead Space 1, Crysis 2, Burnout, and Medal of Honor, they can be downloaded.
Just thinking about it, Sims 3 with 2 expansions?
That's a lot of money right there.
Yeah, that's about £20, £25.
They're charging a lot for the
Sims doesn't decrease in value anyway. It's just one of the sort of games which, until the new one comes out, they do stay quite expensive. But I mean, like I say, it's for a good cause. Get across, have a look at it, and you know, for what is it? What would you say, like £3, £3.50?
£3.50, yeah.
It's not a lot.
It's ridiculously good pricing. I mean, obviously you won't get any of the DLCs for Battlefield 3, but I mean, if you wanted that on top, it's just ridiculous.
But obviously, it's for a good cause. Get across, spend some money.
At the moment, by the time our next podcast gets, released,
Hopefully in 2 weeks.
hopefully in 2 weeks, yeah. That's how long this humble bundle will be on for.
It's getting harder and harder to say that. Keep saying go.
A humble bundle.
Once more.
Humble bundle. And apparently, at the moment, they've made, I think it's about $1 million, $1,089,000 from 239,000 copies.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You also get the Battlefield 3 and the Sims 3 soundtracks as well.
Oh, it's almost like collector's editions of them, really. But no, if you can get across, guys, check out when the website was again.
The humble bundle.
Ah, I got it. go on for it.
Damn it! TheHumbleBundle.com.
So the next story is actually a few Microsoft stories all put into one. The first one is that they will be charging gamers for the Xbox One's Skype and DVR functions. They did do a bit of an update on the website. I put an article up on AlwayzGamezTv.com. Just saying some of the updates are going to be put into the Microsoft Gold Live account. And one of the things that we'll be putting up is the new sharing system. It was Smart Share, or Share Smart, which is the idea of, if, for example, if you're playing FIFA, or something along those lines, it will find people at the equal level to you to be able to put it in the same game. I know it has something very similar at the present moment, but it can be much more intelligent and be working out along more of your stats.
Didn't they sort of reveal this at E3 where they said it was called True Matchmaking, where they sort of level you in like pretty much all the games with players of equal skill?
That's the one. So they'll be including that, but the actual one which really did tick me off a little bit, and then again I went on a bit of a rant on this, was the idea that they're actually charging for particular services and features.
Yeah.
So you have to have I guess it's not really charging, but you have to have a Microsoft Gold account to be able to access these features, such as Netflix, LoveFilm, and Skype. Now, obviously with Skype, you have your free version and your premium version.
Yeah.
But to even be able to use the free version, you have to have a Microsoft Gold account. Same with Netflix. Obviously, you have to pay for a membership to be able to use Netflix, but to be able to use Netflix on your Xbox One, you still need a Microsoft Gold account.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, is this the same for like the BBC iPlayer, Channel 4 OD?
I'm presuming so, yeah.
ITV Plus One? Because if you have to pay just to access these free features, it's a little bit...
Well, it just seems a bit of a situation where... But for example, all it is a feature. There's also Twitch as well. You can upload your gameplay live streaming to Twitch.
That's a good feature.
I think there's a lot with the fighting games and stuff like that. I think they showed again a little bit of that off in the E3. But basically, again, what I said about it on the website was that LoveFilm have their own servers, Netflix have their own servers, Twitch have their own servers. Same with Skype, they have their own servers. They that is their home hub. They look after them. The feature on the Xbox One is only a feature. You will be directed to that feature website and all that sort of thing. So, for example, if I Skype to you on Xbox One, it'd be using the Skype's servers. It wouldn't be Xbox's. Microsoft have no maintenance over these at all. So I don't see why they must charge to be able to use them.
Do they pay premiums? Do they pay premiums to any of these sites?
I don't think so, because if anything, they're doing them a favour to be able to put them on the Xbox. Because it's gaining people more access to them.
This is true, but
I look at it like this. For example, Netflix. Like, I pay for the membership. I can access it on my iPhone, my iPad for free. You know, well, not for free. I have to pay for the membership, but I don't have to pay Apple the permission for me to be able to view my Netflix on my iPad. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's a little bit. As I said with Saints Row 4, it's a little bit daft.
It just sounded a little bit greedy.
Yeah.
But also, when this announcement came out that of all the features that you get with the Xbox Gold, but if you didn't have the Microsoft Gold account, what you wouldn't get, PlayStation turned round and said, "Yeah, we're doing it for free." So you will still need obviously a Netflix membership, Love Film membership, but you will not have to have a PlayStation Plus account to be able to use these features.
You see now, the PlayStation 4 is already 70 quid cheaper. Oh no, wait, no, it's 80 quid cheaper. Sorry. And now it's giving away these features for free. And
What do you think? Well, should they charge for them? Really?
I don't think so. If you want to go and go ahead and buy a premium account for these features, their websites, that's up to you. If you want to use these enhanced features, if you just want the free ones though, I mean, I really don't think you should have to pay for it.
No, it seems like more that I class the consoles as more of a redirect. Is probably the best way to put it. For this feature like BBC iPlayer, it's a redirect. It just has it there. So and then you click on that and it'll take you to BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
It's just there instead of accessing your PC. It's just another way of getting to it. So why they should say to you, "Oh, you need to pay us for our membership first before you can access your other membership on another service." It just seems a bit, again, greedy. They don't have to maintain those servers. Do you know what I mean? It's like it just seems very greedy.
I think they're just trying to sell it all as one whole package, which yeah.
No, but I do know it just seems, again, I might be coming across being very anti-Microsoft, but it seems to me, especially with all the previous backlash from E3 and everything that's happened, and they've had to do a bit of a 180 sort of thing on the policies. Do you think they'd be really trying to push with their good news, not their this feature? Again, I didn't realise this, but with the Xbox 360, you still had to pay for your Xbox Microsoft Gold thingy to be able to access Netflix on that.
I mean, I've had an Xbox for years, right? And I tried a PS3. I didn't like it very much, so I stuck with my Xbox. And so far, between the PS4 and the Xbox One, I'm considering getting a PS4 because ever since the start, Microsoft's just been digging themselves into a great big hole, and Sony's just been pointing down at them and laughing at them. So,
well, basically, they really have taken the high road on every single turning. They have sat back and seen what Microsoft are going to do, and they've done the opposite, or at least another version of what they're doing, and they know what they're doing. Sony are not stupid. They really are just basically seeing, what does Microsoft do? We're going to do it better every single turn, and if you're going to do business, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Basically, well, on a better news, is it better news, or is it just some other news at Microsoft? Is that they're moving away from the Microsoft points and going into proper currency.
This is sort of mixed because proper currency is it's a great thing. I used to have a Maestro debit card, and they wouldn't accept it. So if you want
would
to
they not?
No, they wouldn't accept Maestro. You had to use Visa debit or credit, something like that.
Oh.
So if I wanted to get Microsoft points, I had to buy a Microsoft point card. I reckon that I might do a thing like Steam where they have like a £10 credit card that you can still buy, like a voucher.
I also always used to find, I did have an Xbox 360. I still have an Xbox 360, but I just no longer have the gold membership anymore. But I always find that if you did get, if you bought off the website, how many points you could get in bulk, and then all the cards. If a game came out at 800 Microsoft points, they'd always say you were at 1,000 Microsoft points. So you would always end up with that little bit extra that you wouldn't use, but it would always be just less that you'd be left over to be able to buy a really mini game. So, for example, I'd say I'd buy 1,000 Microsoft points. The game I'd be buying would be 800. But the cheapest next game would be 250 Microsoft points. So I'd have to be able to purchase more to be able to get the next bit.
Wait, on saying that though, some of the indie games are only 80 Microsoft points.
It was still more than what fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just, I found it really frustrating because it was as if they would make their own currency up.
Another thing one of my friends brought up on Facebook, he's from Holland, he's Dutch, he was saying over there, he pays, I think it was the equivalent of $60 for, was it 4,200 points?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's paying more money.
So he paid less for the Microsoft points and they were worth more, and now he's paying money which is...
Basically he's going to have to pay more money now than he did for the points. So
I guess
he's
that's
a little bit peed off.
Yeah, I guess it was depending on the situation within your country. Like I know, like a lot of people, I didn't personally, but a lot of people bought foreign currency. Not foreign currency, the foreign Microsoft points from another country. Like especially in the EU, it certainly would work. I don't think it would work from America to Europe.
No, they're separate.
Yeah, I don't know. Within the EU, you could have bought like one from another country, which might have been a cheaper alternative, buying like 2,400 Microsoft points.
Yeah.
Then it might be a fiver cheaper than buying them here, but that will no longer be available.
I must admit, I did find the Call of Duty 1,200 point packs very useful because you don't have to spend them on Call of Duty. There are other games that you can spend them on, and it saves you spending like 18 quid. Blurp.
Yeah, Daniel's kicking it. Blah, blah, blah.
Anyway, what I was saying was it saves you from spending 18 quid on some points with some left over that you're not going to be able to spend. Instead, you're just paying a tenner and you're spending all that you sort of buy, so there's no left over. And
no, I think it had to happen at some point. They had to do it. I don't even know why they introduced it in the first place. It seemed a bit of a strange sort of... It seemed more work for them, in all honesty. You know what I mean? Like, you sort of sat down like, well, we're going to... It's like PlayStation had it all as just normal, what it's worth, this is what it's worth. Rather than, we're going to give them this so many points, that so many points. Maybe they could sort of do deals with it, maybe. I don't know. But it just seems more work on their behalf to be able to sort of adjust what games are worth what points, and then sell you what points at what price. And I'll be honest, this is probably a better option for them.
Yeah.
It probably reduces their workload down just a smidgen. Yeah. So yeah, the next story is about the Microsoft again. Basically, the original idea with Microsoft the Xbox One was that they weren't going to include a headset in the box when you purchased it, unlike what you had with the 360, which did include one. But they did a bit of a preview unboxing of the Xbox One probably about 3-4 days ago. I think something like that. And basically they just showed it off. It was only a very flimsy little thing. It was nothing amazing. They showed off the headset. Out it popped, and there it was. Because one thing that actually 360 did have over the PlayStation 3 was that it included the headset. I bought a PlayStation 3, we didn't have a headset, and we find a lot on the PlayStation 3, we don't talk. And the community on the 360 was a lot more vocal.
Yeah.
Good or bad. But it looks like it's a situation that they're going to include it once again.
No, I completely missed this. I didn't see it all. Is this a wired headset or is it a wireless clip-on?
As far as I know, it's similar sort of setup as the original 360. It can be wired but plugged into the bottom of your Microsoft, Xbox One controller.
Is it like a proper, like a Turtle Beach headset, or is it like the original 360?
It looks, by the preview video, very much like the original 360 one. The little flimsy plastic thing.
I never did like that because in one ear you had people like, squabbling at you, talking in your ear, and in the other ear you've got the game volume. It just wasn't as good as like an all-round headset.
Yeah, I think in either way, what they're going to choose is going to be something cheap, mainly because the Xbox One's already relatively expensive. If they put something like what I would call a decent headset into the box, it's going to crank it up by about at least £50 more. You'd be looking at you're going to be pushing the £500.
And no one would buy that apart from hardcore fans.
Basically, like this is good news. This is good news, and they're not putting the price up. Yeah. It'll keep continue. It'll basically be a continuation from the 360 sort of style of things. There will always be the community chatter.
Yep.
Especially now that apparently with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, a lot of the previous generation headsets will not work with the next gen consoles. Now, I have a Razer Sharkoon 5.1 thingamabob.
Thingamabob, that's very good.
It's a new range. So that actually basically ran through a fibre optic cable, should I say, into the back of my PlayStation 3. Not a USB system. Now, if the PlayStation 4 does have a fibre optic cable, I would still be able to use that headset. However, it's going to be curious because I'd like to see because mine's an all-rounder, so it can be used on the Xbox 360 PC as well. So maybe, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting area, especially for a lot of people who spent a lot of money, like myself, on previous generation headsets.
Yeah.
Whether or not they will be pulled across, and which ones will be able to be used.
On saying that though, a lot of headsets include 3.5mm jacks that you can plug into the side of your television, and then obviously there's like a separate cable that you plug into your controller.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them should still be compatible, even if the microphone don't work. You've still got the audio coming through the TV.
Actually, that's a really good point, because like actually the TV, which unfortunately is not working overly well, does have a fibre optic cable slot. So if I really wanted to, I could still plug that into that TV. It wouldn't be surround sound, but it would still work.
And the only problem you got then is how you're gonna get the microphone working. I mean,
yeah,
there is a specific cable that goes into the 360 controller.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think it might be slightly different on the Xbox One or PS4.
the PlayStation 4 is used for a USB system.
So that should be the same, yeah?
We hope.
We hope.
I hope. So no, this is good news for the Microsoft fans, and so you'll still be able to get abused on Call of Duty if you're doing terrible.
No, you're wrong there.
Because, sorry, I will.
Well, if they're going to put all the same people with the same kind of people, if you're in a room full of trolls, that means you must be a troll.
Good point. I like it. Also carrying on with the Microsoft once again still, they've also changed another, I guess maybe not policy, it's more hardware system, is that you will no longer need the Kinect attached to the Xbox One for you to be able to use the Xbox One. They've removed this function. Basically, it was one of the pet peeves or worrying things that a lot of the fans were saying to Microsoft, that they didn't like this idea that the Kinect would always be on, that it would always be plugged in. They had a lot of bad press with this, and they've turned around and changed it. They've gone back and redesigned this aspect of it. It doesn't need to be plugged in. Now, whether or not this comes to a point where later down the line that you do not need to buy the Xbox One with the Kinect, which may mean that the price could drop. It's always a possibility.
Well, if you think about the Xbox 360 Kinect, that was like 70 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 60, 70, 80 or something like that, depending on when you bought it, really.
So if you minus the Kinect, it's roughly the same price as the PlayStation 4.
But PlayStation 4, yeah. It's going to be... I don't think they'll do that yet, though. I don't think they'll do the Xbox One without the Kinect.
No.
Mainly because they're going to want developers of games to want to develop games which are going to use the Kinect. Now, if the developers know that every person who's bought an Xbox is going to have a Kinect, they're going to develop a game using that mechanic.
Of course, yeah.
It's whether or not at some point Microsoft decide to bite the bullet and not include the Kinect in the box and reduce the price. That's when they're going to start hitting some walls, I think, because then you start creating a very, maybe small initially, small percentage of people who are not going to have the Kinect.
I mean, at the current moment, I think they're going to include Kinect.
Mm-hmm.
Later on down the line, when they make a slim version or a slim model, they may make a slim Kinect, or they might not include it. You know, they might actually make a slim model of the Kinect and sell it for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
Separately if you want it, or in a bundle, or
They're going to have to do something, I think, in all honesty, because the price is still very expensive.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Then again, and I'm saying that now, but I bought the PlayStation 3 originally for 450 quid. I know. Yes. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I was happy. But it's an interesting, again, it's another policy that they've changed on. And it'll be interesting to see how many other ones they do change until release. We're not far away. We are now nearly halfway through August.
Yeah.
And they haven't announced this, but isn't it meant to be sort of coming around November-ish time? We're thinking.
I reckon it'll be about November,
Yeah.
I mean, so I was going to say, going back to the original price point of, was it 430 quid for the Xbox One?
Something like that.
If you think about how much they're charging for mobiles these days, like the HTC One, Galaxy S4, they're about 500 quid. So if you think about it in those terms, it's not too bad.
It is not overly expensive, no, I got told. Maybe, I know my contract for my iPhone's coming up soon. I'm not looking forward to the upgrading.
Also, if you're a hardcore PC gamer, it's dead cheap.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, there's a graphics card alone that I've purchased with 155. How much was yours again? You just upgraded?
It was slightly more than a PS4.
Yeah, but there we go. That just sums it up. Like it's what your personal line is. You know, it's not. You know, where you can draw the line and say that's too much for that.
Yeah, well, I just erased the line and sort of forgot about it.
Your bank account didn't.
I could have bought a Titan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't.
Well
Because I
done.
could have bought a car instead.
Oh dear. Also, next up on the stories is that Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar are going to release a new gameplay trailer tomorrow for the Grand Theft Auto 5. I get it right.
Way, well done.
Hey.
Hopefully it'll show a bit more multiplayer content as they promised in the previous trailer.
Yeah.
Quite interested to see new game modes.
I'm more interested to see also how many people they're going to have online at once in a match.
Well, with Battlefield, what was it 4? I think they said
60...
64, wasn't it?
on a PC?
On
Oh, no,
PC.
it'll be all around now, isn't it? That was, sorry, I'm thinking Battlefield previous generation. That was 64 on the PC, but 32 on the consoles.
Now this is about. I can't remember. Is Battlefield 4 going to be 64 on consoles as well, or is that going to be like 48? I can't remember.
Oh, I'll look this up now.
But either way, it's an improvement. So if you think about GTA 4, they could have up to. Can you imagine playing GTA 4 with 60 people, 64
That'd be
people?
awesome. It really would be awesome. And to be honest, with the technology how it's going, they can hold it.
So hopefully in GTA 5 they will include 64 people. That'd be amazing. It'd be a little bit bonkers actually if you had like 64 people on a tiny little island.
I was going to say like a crossroads and everyone's just driving the cars down it.
That'd be a really big pileup.
Yeah. So basically, I think that pretty much sums it up for the news for this last couple of weeks. It's a lot more jam-packed. Don't forget to check out AlwayzGamezTv.com just to any more news that's popping up. And we'll crack on with the UK Top 10 charts. So, giving you a rundown on the UK Top 10 charts. At number 10 is Assassin's Creed 3. At number 9 is Tomb Raider. At number 8 is Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. At number 7 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. At number 6 is The Last of Us. At number 5 is Animal Crossing New Leaf. At number 4 is Tales of Xillia? Anyway, at number 3 is The Smurfs 2. At number 2 is FIFA 13. And still at number 1 is Minecraft, is Minecraft, but with Lara Croft in it. Number 1 is Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. So, not a lot has changed.
So how many weeks has Minecraft been at number 1 then?
A third week.
A third week.
And The Last of Us are slowly been slipping down the charts.
Yeah.
It just shows how if you release a game on one console, it can hold it for a short amount of time, but eventually it won't hold out as long as if you released it on a multi-platform release.
Now, Minecraft doesn't have a story in it at all.
No.
It's basically just an open-ended survival game. I mean, the only story is get to the Nether and kill a dragon, and even after that, it continues.
Now, I think we won't ever be able to find out results of this, but if I said to you, how many percentage of gamers do you think own Minecraft? And that includes PC, iPhone version, and the Xbox 360 edition.
You're going on at least 60-70%.
I'm going about 70%,
Possibly.
possibly even a bit more actually. Now with this one being released,
I'm not sure. I remember my friend when he first showed me, it was like, what on earth is this? He said, it's Minecraft, and I thought it looked horrendous, but after just sort of playing with it and getting into it,
it does appeal to a lot of audiences, and I think it's basically Lego.
Yeah.
In all honesty, that's basically what it, obviously with a lot of other mechanics such as zombies and everything like that, but
Lego with zombies.
Lego is amazing. If someone came up with that, I bet some of the large companies is like, why didn't we think of this? Honestly, Lego with zombies, it'll sell. But other than that, there really hasn't been much of a change in chart. The Tales of Xillia, which I think I'm saying it right, is new in this week. Jumps in straight at number 4. Also, which I'm quite shocked about, is FIFA 13 at number 2.
There's an awful lot of football fans.
There is a lot of football fans, and I think the Premiership League is just about to start again. I'm taking a wild guess at this because my friend watches football.
Got no idea.
Okay. But I think that may be why they may be selling some of the FIFA 13s. But apparently, I spoke to him. I said to him, "Is that anyway?" I think it was the Premiership at least. Anyway, it was some sort of football league which is very popular. It's about to start. And I said to him, "Why do you think FIFA 13 is selling?" Because apparently, if you've got the FIFA 13, it'll update automatically to all the new transfers which is happening within football.
All right.
So then, I guess it won't make FIFA 14 void because that'll have all the new updates and graphics and everything like that.
Animations. And
Yeah, exactly. But but the FIFA 13 will have all its stats adjusted, which is quite cool, I guess. Keeps the game going for a little bit more of longevity.
Yeah.
But other than that, not a huge amount of change. Coming up, and by the way, if you can hear us creaking, this is because we're actually sat on leather sofas. Yeah, I do apologise about that. Anyway, so moving on to the next is actually what's coming up in this next week or two. We've got a fair bit actually coming out now. It's showing that we're coming to the end of the dry season of gaming, and we're starting to head to the last
monsoon season.
Yeah, monsoon season. The last third of the year. Coming out on the 16th of August is Payday 2, which we already know is making a profit. We've also got Saints Row 4 coming out on the 23rd of August. Splinter Cell Blacklist, which is coming out on the same day. The Bureau XCOM Declassified is also coming out pretty soon. And Final Fantasy XIV The Realm Reborn, the MMO, is coming out on the 27th of August. And also PlanetSide 3? Yeah, coming out at the end of the month. I don't know if that's going to be before or after the next podcast. Actually.
Sorry to break in here. It's not PlanetSide 3. It's Lost Planet 3.
Sorry, yeah, Lost Planet. I do apologise. We are drinking. Lost Planet 3. Thank you. Glad you're paying attention now. But other than that, it's getting busier now with the old releases, and I think you're gonna have to start watching your wallet.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide mine somewhere.
But other than that, have you got much planned for this next 2 weeks? Other than getting used to your new phone?
I'm going to have a look, see what mobile games are about, because we haven't really explored that market yet.
No, we haven't. I got to admit, I don't really do a lot of iPhone gaming. I have done this last couple of weeks, but it's something where usually I get told by somebody to check out a game, and I get hooked. I don't really go exploring for them on the App Store.
Yeah, I might go all retro and download Star Wars Battlegrounds, is it?
Oh yes, but Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds.
Galactic Battlegrounds, yeah.
Because we were trying Age of Empires, but we had a few problems getting online.
Age of Empires 2, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm kind of pushing for Galactic Battlegrounds. It's a great game.
It looks a lot more at my road than Age of Empires.
Yeah, it's old school. It's very old school, but yeah, I've had some amazing matches on there. But I'm sure I'll have to try that in the next couple of weeks. I got to admit myself, I haven't got a lot planned except doing a few more videos for the AlwayzGamezTv, and I think that's going to be about it for another couple of weeks. You can check us out at AlwayzGamezTv.com, Twitter at AlwayzGamezTV, and don't forget to check out our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel, which we'll do. Starting to get a few more videos up there. It's becoming a bit more substantial. How about yourself? So go and read out your Twitter account.
It's at Outcast Reaver with a K.
With a K.
Yes.
And your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel has only got one video up, so it's not important.
That's
Outcast Reaver as well with a K. I think it's got a space, but I can't remember.
I think it does, yeah. But thanks for joining us for another podcast, and we will speak to you again in 2 weeks. Thanks very much for joining me, Tom.
Thank you.
And we're going to finish off the rest of this Jack Daniels ball. Thanks very much, guys. We'll speak to you later.
Tally-ho!
Yeah, go on. Nice measure.
Tell me when, because I can't.
Bit more. Done. Yeah, thank you. I have no idea what this must be.
Is that the same size?
No.
Well, it looks the same from here.
But we'll come side by side.
Wait up for anything and I want to have a look.
Oh, too late. You'll be fine. That's a reasonable measure.